There is a language that shapes your destiny. It is not the language you speak to others. It is the silent conversation you hold with yourself. Most people use this language carelessly, unaware that their inner words are painting the blueprint of their life. And when it comes to money, this inner dialogue is either opening the gates of abundance or locking them shut. For just 3 days, if you will speak to yourself with intention, if you will plant words of wealth, opportunity, and flow, you will feel a shift. Not because the world has changed, but because you have changed the vibration you send to the world. Let us explore how 3 days of intentional self-talk can open the channel for money to flow into your life. Every word you speak is a seed, and every seed has the power to shape the garden of your life. Words are not empty sounds. They carry vibration, intention, and direction. They form an atmosphere around you, much like the weather determines the growth of crops. If the atmosphere you create is one of lack, fear, and limitation, it will be nearly impossible for the seeds of abundance to take root and flourish. But if your atmosphere is warm with faith, filled with gratitude, and rich with expectancy, wealth will grow naturally in its presence. Your financial atmosphere is determined by what you speak daily. When you declare that money is always scarce, you invite scarcity to be your companion. When you speak of struggle and limitation, you anchor yourself in the very conditions you wish to escape. This is not a punishment, it is simply the law of correspondence at work. What is declared within is reflected without. Consider the difference between saying, "I can never seem to get ahead," and saying, "Every day I move closer to financial freedom." The first statement shuts the door, while the second opens it wide. One locks you into a cycle, the other signals to the universe that you are ready to receive. Even casual words spoken without much thought, such as "I'm broke," or "money slips through my fingers," carry power. Over time, they harden into beliefs, and those beliefs shape your reality. When you begin to speak abundance into your life, you shift the very air around you. You start to breathe in possibility rather than defeat. You start to notice opportunities where before you saw only dead ends. It is as if a fog lifts, revealing a path that was there all along. The transformation begins not in the bank account, but in the spoken word. A man once made a simple change in his speech. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," he began to say, "I choose not to spend on that right now." The difference in wording might seem small, but the energy behind it was entirely different. He went from feeling powerless to feeling in control. Within months, his financial situation improved, not because of sudden luck, but because his new atmosphere attracted better decisions, inspired actions, and unexpected opportunities. Creating a financial atmosphere of abundance requires discipline. It means catching yourself when words of lack try to escape and replacing them with words of increase. It means speaking about money with respect, even reverence, as if you are tending to something precious. It means holding conversations, both with yourself and others, that are aligned with prosperity rather than defeat. When your words shift, your energy shifts, and when your energy shifts, the world responds in kind. The financial atmosphere you build through speech becomes a living force that draws matching conditions into your life. Speak as though you are already surrounded by wealth, and your atmosphere will prepare the way for wealth to arrive. The subconscious mind is the silent architect of your life, faithfully building every structure according to the blueprint it is given. It does not argue, analyze, or question. It simply accepts the words, images, and beliefs you feed it as truth, and then sets about making them real in your outer world. This is both a great responsibility and a great gift. If you tell your subconscious that money is hard to earn, it will accept that instruction and faithfully create situations to match. If you speak often of being unlucky or burdened with debt, it will assume this is the reality you prefer and keep delivering experiences that confirm it. The subconscious is like fertile soil. It does not choose which seeds to nurture. It grows whatever is planted, whether those seeds are weeds of worry or flowers of abundance. The beauty of this truth is that it gives you the power to direct your life deliberately. When you fill your subconscious with images of prosperity, statements of faith, and feelings of gratitude, It will respond with conditions and opportunities that match. It cannot reject a suggestion once it is planted deeply enough. It simply obeys. There is a story of a woman who for years had spoken casually about always being bad with money. She never meant it seriously. It was simply a habit of speech. Yet her subconscious heard those words repeatedly, and without question, it orchestrated her life to match that belief: missed opportunities, impulsive spending, and constant financial strain. When she learned the power of the subconscious, she changed her inner dialogue. She began telling herself daily, "I am wise and guided in all my financial decisions." In less than a year, her finances stabilized, her income increased, and she found herself in situations that reflected the new instructions she had given. The subconscious cannot distinguish between truth and falsehood, between reality and imagination. It only knows repetition and emotional charge. That is why affirmations, when spoken with feeling, are so powerful. The more often you repeat a statement, the more your subconscious accepts it as the foundation for action. Many people unknowingly program their subconscious with fear. They rehearse worst-case scenarios in their minds, speak of misfortune as if it were inevitable, and then wonder why life seems to deliver exactly those outcomes. But when you choose to feed it with visions of abundance, safety, and ease, the results are just as certain. Only this time, they work in your favor. The subconscious is your most faithful servant, but it will follow whatever master you choose to be, the master of fear or the master of faith. By deliberately choosing your words, guarding your thoughts, and infusing them with positive emotion, you can direct your subconscious to create a life of prosperity, joy, and freedom. It will not resist you. It will not delay. It will simply say, "As you wish," and begin to work quietly and steadily until your inner truth becomes your outer reality. Every word you speak to yourself is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Long before events unfold, long before opportunities arrive, your inner dialogue has already shaped the tone and direction of what you believe is possible. The words you repeat in the privacy of your own mind set the boundaries of your expectation, and life, ever obedient, responds accordingly. If you constantly tell yourself that money is scarce, that you never get a break, or that success is for other people, you are quietly instructing your mind to notice only evidence that proves you right. You will walk past opportunities without recognizing them, dismiss ideas before they can bloom, and accept less than you deserve, not because life is withholding from you, but because your own self-talk has convinced you to expect little. On the other hand, when you speak to yourself with words of faith, vision, and expectancy, you set a higher standard for what you will allow into your life. A person who rises each morning and declares, "I am guided to profitable opportunities," will move through the day alert, receptive, and ready to act when those opportunities appear. Their expectation has tuned their mind to look for confirmation, and the world never fails to reflect what is expected. There is a man who once struggled for years to grow his small business. Every day, he muttered to himself that customers were hard to find and that competitors were always ahead. His words became the tone of his days, heavy, doubtful, and filled with struggle. When he learned the power of self-talk, he made a simple shift. Every morning and night, he told himself, "My business attracts loyal customers with ease. I am always in the right place at the right time." Within months, the tone of his days shifted from worry to anticipation. The change in attitude altered the way he spoke to clients, the way he marketed his services, and even the way he noticed new trends. As his expectation grew brighter, so did his results. Self-talk is not merely a matter of positive thinking. It is the art of aligning your inner speech with the reality you desire to experience. The tone you set becomes the music your life dances to. If your inner conversation is filled with doubt, the dance will be hesitant and awkward. If it is filled with trust and expectancy, your steps will be sure and graceful. Life is not moved by casual wishes. It is moved by deeply held expectations. The self-talk you repeat, especially with emotion, becomes the atmosphere in which your dreams either thrive or wither. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you love, encouraging, affirming, and confident in their potential. When you make a habit of this, you will notice that life begins to meet you at the level of your expectation, not beneath it. And soon, you will see that the story you tell yourself in the quiet places of your mind is the very same story that unfolds before your eyes. 3 days of focused, intentional self-talk can ignite a spark so bright that it begins to shift your reality. In those first days, something stirs within. The mind catches a glimpse of what is possible. The heart feels a new rhythm, and the atmosphere around you begins to respond. But while 3 days can start the fire, it is the steady breath of consistency that keeps the flame alive. In the beginning, you may notice small changes, a lighter feeling in your spirit, a sudden idea, a conversation that seems divinely timed. These are the early signs that your words are taking root. Just as a match can light a candle, your 3 days of concentrated thought and speech can light the pathway to a new life. But a match burns out quickly if it is not followed by steady fuel. The mind loves patterns. It thrives on repetition. The more consistently you speak words of increase, abundance, and possibility, the more your subconscious accepts them as truth. At first, it may feel unnatural. Old doubts may rise, whispering that nothing is changing. But every time you repeat your chosen words, you are training your inner world to see beyond the evidence of the moment. You are keeping the flame fed until it grows strong enough to burn through fear, lack, and limitation. Consider the farmer who plants seeds in the soil. For the first few days, he may see nothing at all, yet he waters faithfully, knowing that beneath the surface, life is stirring. In the same way, your initial 3 days of self-talk are like the planting. You set the intention, you awaken the possibility, but without returning each day to water those words, the seeds will dry up before they can grow. Consistency is the rain, the sunlight, and the protection that ensures the harvest comes. There is a story of a woman who began speaking abundance into her life for 3 days straight. In that short time, she noticed a few encouraging signs: a small unexpected gift, a new business lead, a feeling of lightness. Excited, she stopped after those days, thinking the work was done. Within weeks, the momentum faded, and her old patterns returned. She learned that the universe responds not to bursts of faith alone, but to the steady hum of belief carried day after day. When she recommitted and made her affirmations a daily ritual, the flow began again, stronger than before. 3 days will awaken you, but consistency will transform you. Just as a candle can light a room for a moment, it is the steady oil in the lamp that keeps it burning through the night. Let your self-talk be that steady oil. Let your words each day fan the flame of faith until it becomes a fire that no wind can extinguish. In time, you will find that what began as a spark in your words has become a blazing reality in your life, and all because you kept speaking until the vision became the truth.